Mr. T. Wake up and get some coffee. Wake up with Mitch and Mr. T. Wake up and get some coffee.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of the Waking Up with Mitch and Mr. T.
I'm Mitch.
Not literally.
Mitchell.
We're not literally. You're not literally waking up with us. Podcast.
You're waking up and listening to us.
Metaphorically.
Yep.
I mean, you're not listening metaphorically. You're waking up with us metaphorically.
Yeah.
Yes. It is 5 o'clock in the morning here in the Loma Studios, LMAV Radio.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Mitchell?
Tired. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
It is. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. We wouldn't lie about a thing like that.
Not at all. Woke up early just to get this podcast out to you guys, just to make sure we were in the morning so that you were waking up.
Yes. And I don't know if anybody's really even waking up right now. Who wakes up at 5 in the morning that we know?
Moms?
Moms?
I think.
That's just like that's just the time that the moms wake up.
If they have work. I'm sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think that they're just waking up. I'm sure they have something to do. Okay, the moms are waking up.
The dads.
The dads.
I know there's a lot of busy dads out there.
Just all
jobs.
Adults.
I don't think kids wake up at 5 unless they're like, it's sport. Around here, it's sports obligations that make you wake up at 5.
Yeah.
Lifting, basketball.
Which neither of us, obviously.
Nope.
That's not why we wake up at 5 in the morning.
We wake up at 4 in the morning so we can get here at 5.
Right.
And get this podcast out to you.
I mean, I live 2 minutes away, but
and
I still
live the same amount away.
It still takes us an hour to get here.
Yep.
So we've been wanting to do this podcast. We came up with this idea last year.
Yep.
And, because we are perfectionists and we really like to be thorough, we wanted to just make sure we were ready. We didn't feel like we were ready at the end of last year, right? That's why we didn't get it done.
Yeah, and there was a lot of other things going on.
Right.
But the not ready thing, the perfectionism was the biggest thing.
We're
Definitely.
Professionals.
We want this to be the best it can be. We would never put out something that wouldn't be completely fun to listen to.
Right. That's why we're here at 5 in the morning.
Exactly.
This podcast, hopefully, it's just going to be kind of a fun, easy listening. It's not going to be like smooth jazz. I just said easy listening, and
it's going to be more like
I went to smooth jazz in my head.
It's going to be more like freeform jazz. It's an acquired taste.
It's going to be an acquired taste, but hopefully it makes you laugh. We've got some fun segments. This is going to be kind of like a condensed version of the podcast.
Was
that like an inside joke?
It was a reference to SpongeBob.
Oh, what? I'm not gonna pick up on the SpongeBob references. I'm sorry.
It's fine. If you got it, you got it. If you didn't, let's move on.
All right. Well, now I feel like I'm this old man.
It's Patrick, and he's like, you got to acquire a taste for freeform jazz.
Okay, I'll have to watch that episode.
Something like that, right? Yeah.
Carter Ross is in here with us. He's also got here at 5 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
He's our producer. He's producing the show, running the board.
Oh, yeah.
Carter, say hi.
Hey. That was him.
That was Carter. Here at 5 in the morning in the school of Logan-Magnolia. But basically, today we'll just have a few of our segments that'll be kind of recurring. And then once school gets going, we'll have a lot more. We'll be eating pancakes in the morning, making some eggs. Just right here. We're just going to scramble them on air on our foreheads. And
the computer gets hot enough that we can just crack an egg on it.
It does. It does struggle a bit, especially when the two of us are here. There's a lot of struggling going on. But Mitchell, before we jump into our first segment, how was your summer? You are a senior now.
I am.
Mitchell Rose.
I am a senior at Logan-Magnolia High School, and I am ready. I'm ready to take this year head on and just get it over with.
Oh, okay.
No, I had a good summer. Not super eventful, just kind of hung out, really. Played a lot of guitar, stopped here, played guitar with you somewhat.
We've got a show coming up, you and I. We won't get too in-depth on that just yet, but
we'll give you more details when it's closer, but
we're going to rock the halls.
Oh, yeah.
I heard you got a new job, too.
June 17th, I started at Casey's in Blair, right next to
the Walmart.
The Walmart that I worked at.
Your arch nemesis.
Yeah. So I make pizzas and other food. It's fun.
Critically acclaimed pizzas. Casey's has got like the best pizza around.
Sure.
When you first started making the pizza, did you have some like epiphany or some realization? Oh my gosh, this is how they do it.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy though. Honestly, when you order a pizza, you don't really think about it but when you make them and you start looking and you order pizzas, this is not going how I thought it would.
I'm interested now.
When you're making the pizza, it's so much different. You get so much more insight into what really goes into making the pizza, and it's nothing like you would ever believe. It's not super strenuous work. Is that a word?
It is.
Yeah. So I guess it's not terrible. I mean, unless you get, one night we had one order for 24 pizzas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then we had a bunch of others due at the same time. It was all due at 6 o'clock. It was a Friday night.
Did you approach it as a team with this positive, like, let's do this attitude, or were you just throwing sauce around?
So it depends who's there. Some people like to be a team, some people don't, but everyone there is pretty nice. It's great. The managers are like a million times better. But you guys don't care about that. You want to hear about the pizzas.
The pizza.
So, the pizzas. That night, I was rolling out. You get your dough, and then you roll the dough into a ball, and then you put it through the dough machine, and it rolls it out.
Sounds like a fun adventure for the dough.
Probably. Imagine if you were getting squished through a machine.
Well, if I was dough, I mean, if it was me, no, I wouldn't like it. But if I was dough and that was my whole point,
exactly.
I bet I'd like it.
Yeah, I think. But then, anyways, there's just like making the crust. Like if you order a pizza, you don't ever look like, oh, this crust is bad. Oh, there's not 33 pepperonis on this pizza.
Right.
Well, I mean, I do that now.
Oh.
Because I work there, though. It's so much different when you work there. Because you look for that stuff. You look for...
You're a pepperoni counter now.
A pepperoni counter.
Gone to the dark side. Do you ever I saw this on the TikTok where they have a pizza and then the pizza cutter cuts a line down the middle and takes the middle part and then pushes it all into the middle so it looks like they didn't take anything out and then they eat it.
That's we've talked about it, but we've never done it because there's cameras pointed right at where we cut the pizzas.
Oh wow!
I think if it wasn't for that, there's not a lot of honest people there. They would definitely do that.
Seems like it.
Oh no, not a terrible job.
No,
making pizzas gives you a new insight on when you order a pizza from somewhere. Really, what goes into the whole pizza making process. I just rambled about nothing.
It was very philosophical. I felt like
I think
you were talking about making pizza, but I also kind of felt like you were talking about life. And everything that goes into life.
How you have to. Anyways, you get more respect for pizza makers, and nothing and it's not something you would think about unless you worked at a pizza place.
No, I never would. I never.
Exactly.
And I'm not gonna lie, I probably still won't.
Yeah.
But in this moment, I'm thinking about it, and I do appreciate it.
So I want you guys all to take a second. If there's one thing you take away from today's podcast, if you listen, is if you made it this far.
Yeah.
Really respect your pizza makers.
And your sandwich artists.
And yes, we also do make sandwiches there.
Yes. That's what they call the Subway people.
Sandwich artists?
Sandwich artists.
I was at Subway today, and they had the one in Missouri Valley. They had that. They were just flying through the sandwiches.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It was crazy. They had one person got this and this, and then the other person grabbed something. They're like, oh, you forgot that. I'm like, no, but I don't think they forgot. I think it was planned. It was so crazy. They had that sandwich done in 5 seconds.
It's an art.
It really is. They were a team.
You have to earn the title of sandwich artist.
I think so.
I both worked at Walmart. I was in the produce section though. Mm-hmm. That's where I learned how to juggle. Mm-hmm. Just back in the back room, oranges, apples, lemons. That's all I did. And then
I didn't even work. They paid me to juggle, and they didn't even know it.
It got to the point where there was a big back room, and I was just throwing the oranges off the wall, and I would just get farther and farther back. And anyways. I also worked at Subway, and I was a sandwich artist there.
Yeah. Which one was worse?
There's probably the Subway one job was a little bit more, because you not only you were doing the sandwich making, but you also had to act as a cashier, and you were usually the only one there. You were one other person.
Yep.
Walmart produce, I'm in the produce department. Most people, when they come up and they ask you, what is arugula? I could just make something up, and they're not going to know. If I'm lying.
Well, yeah, of course.
But the produce department was kind of fun. I had being a small kid from Valley, Nebraska, I had never seen bok choy before.
Yeah,
What is this? How could you possibly eat this? What would you need it for?
I still am not 100% sure what bok choy is.
I don't even what's an artichoke?
I know that because of spinach and artichoke dip.
Yeah, that's the only. Is that all it's used for? Because that's.
I wanted to try
wow.
a papaya because we sold papayas at Walmart, and papaya is a fun word to say, so I was like, it must be a fun fruit to eat. But I never tried it. I tried a dragon fruit.
You're missing out. I've never had a dragon fruit. Have you ever had a pomegranate?
Yeah.
Those scare me because I'm not joking. What's that phobia where you are afraid of the holes?
Trypophobia.
Trypophobia.
My sister has that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I really legitimately have that, but I don't like looking at holes.
We should test that one day.
Well, maybe not. But pomegranates, you cut into one of those and I'll run away.
Good to know.
You know my weakness. All right, Mitchell, you're a senior this year. Are you going to change? You going to make some changes around the school, or are you just going to just come and hang out in the studio and then leave first chance you get?
I'm going to tell you what you want to hear.
Okay.
I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to make it a better place to be for everybody,
all right.
Students and teachers alike.
I like it. I like it.
In all seriousness, I hope to have a positive influence on everybody I can and leave this place at least a little better than I found it.
Do you believe that seniors have that influence on the underclassmen?
Definitely.
Do you think that they have that power?
Yeah. All the underclassmen, whether they believe it or not, they look up to the juniors and the seniors. It's just how it works. Like, you got nobody else to look up to. You're new in high school unless you have like a sibling. And that's what it was like for me. I had two siblings. One was when I was in when my freshman year, my sister was a junior and my brother was a senior. And my brother, he was like off in his own world all the time. So I never really I don't know. I didn't really ask him for much help, but my sister always helped me whenever I needed something.
Yeah, and she was a pretty vocal leader in the school.
But that's what really, and I saw that and I was like, yeah, they really do listen to her. And she led more out of fear.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Show choir?
Oh, she was instilling fear. She
yeah.
wasn't afraid.
No,
okay.
She was definitely
the boss.
They were scared of her. Some people were. Not everyone. Some people were just like, all right, I'll listen to you, I guess. But I think a great thing for the seniors to do is lead with positivity. Mm-hmm. Be a positive role model. I don't know, just be nice. And the freshmen and the sophomores will hopefully be nice too. If they're not, there's nothing you can do about it.
I remember more because when I was a freshman and sophomore and when I was in high school, and a senior would talk to me. Mm-hmm. The times when they were just nice and they're just like, hey, how's it going? Just like that, those times stand out to me more and made probably a bigger impact on me than, I mean, there were a few seniors that were kind of bullies and kind of mean, and you tried to avoid when you were walking in the hall, you would turn the other way. But the seniors who were positive, who were nice, those always made a bigger impact on me, and I think that's the same way today.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't say it's. I don't think people think about it as much like that anymore. Just because, and I'm not sure why that is. I think it's probably because my generation values FaceTime, like face-to-face time, a lot less than yours did.
You think due to social media and that kind of stuff?
Well,
what do you think the cause is?
This is going to be a controversial thing. But
that's what waking up with Mitch and Mr. T is all about. Controversy.
We want you to wake up, man.
Wake up!
Wake up!
Wake up! It's an illusion. It's all an illusion.
It's a simulation. No. Actually, though, I do think that phones, the electronics, and I'm guilty of it too because I'm growing up now. Like, I'm growing up the same as everyone else, so I experience it as well. We do lose a lot of the personal connections, like face-to-face in real life connections that generations past had, because we just don't value it as much because we'd rather sit on our phone and like somebody's picture on social media than go up to them and tell them they look nice in real life.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's such an easy crutch. I mean, it's such an easy, and it's for my, even people in my generation. Now it's a little different because like you said, we didn't have that in high school in those formative years when we were learning how to be social. Mm-hmm. So that helped out a lot. But still now, I mean, my generation doesn't, my parents' generation, it's so much easier just to get online and you feel like you're so much more confident online and whatever app you're using than it is when you're actually in person
Because
in front of somebody.
online, it's just words. You can type whatever you want. You can make your picture look however you want it. But in person, you got one chance to make a first impression with somebody or say the right thing. If you don't, you got to restart. Like there's no really restart button. So I think younger people have been trained to want the first impression to be as best as it possibly can be, and it's easiest to do that through a phone, which sounds kind of weird and philosophical. Once again, back to the pizzas.
Yeah, we're getting deep.
Really? I didn't expect it to be like this.
What'll be really interesting, I think, is when your generation gets into your mid-30s and you start like running the country, basically. When your generations are politicians and doing, because you're gonna, I mean, you're seeing it now a little bit with the very first viral YouTube stars and viral whatever stars, that they are now starting to see some of the repercussions of the early stuff that they posted and whatnot, because they didn't know like, I posted this in 2006 on YouTube, it's still around. And your generation, when you get to that age, I think your kids or the generations that come after you will basically use you as a model of, hey, we need to be careful on what we post. And you see a lot of that already.
Who knows? Maybe it's a good thing. I personally wish there was more like face-to-face social interaction. I don't really like, as much as I'm on it, I wish I wasn't. I don't like texting people or Snapchatting or Instagram, but I do it a lot. It's because it's like, if I only want to talk to people face to face, I'm going to have a lot less social interaction with my friends, because they're not going to want, like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying? They're not going to want to. You
got to rally the troops. Everybody's got to be on board to actually meet up and go to a movie, or meet up and go out to eat or something like that. And if the majority of the friend group is, hey, no, we're just going to stay online, it's, well, I guess I'll just stay online too.
And don't get me wrong. I love playing Xbox. Like, I love being a teenager, playing Xbox, getting on my phone, whatnot. I just wish I did it less, and I wish I was face to face with my friends more, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of contradicting myself quite a bit.
Well, I think the first step is, I mean, so many kids aren't even aware that they're online so much. And I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, I get my daily screen time report every Sunday morning, and it's just at a random time. My phone just sends me like, you've been using your phone 5 hours a day. And there goes my self-confidence. Like, thanks, phone, just tearing me down. There's no way I've been on my, so it's even, somebody who is in their 30s, it's easy to get wrapped up in technology and online and social media. But it's the fact that when you're totally not aware of, like, hey, I need to set the phone down, or hey, I need to put the games away and step outside, or go run around the house. That's what I would do.
I'll ask him if we can keep this in here. But that's why I'm glad I got Carter as a friend. That dude is outside all the time. Seriously, we're just climbing trees.
Before the 5 o'clock, before this podcast, 3 o'clock in the morning, you guys are outside climbing trees.
Yep. That's we were climbing trees. He's good about getting people to go outside and getting them off. At least me, like, we hang out quite a bit and we're like not really on our phones. I mean, taking pictures is one thing because it's cool, but I just thought of the irony of this whole conversation is that we're talking about the lack of internet, and this is going to be posted on the internet.
Yeah, people are listening on their phones or on an app right now.
Yeah.
But maybe they're out jogging.
Yeah, who knows?
Just
maybe they already stopped listening.
And if they're still listening to this point,
it's crazy.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Done. This is a test, and you are passing it so far.
You earned yourself $1.
I feel like we've touched on a lot of key points.
Yeah, I feel like it's time to get into some segments.
Yeah,
because I feel like I've rambled for 20 minutes and none of it really connected.
I feel like you have really been, you're quite the philosopher over
I know.
here, talking about metaphorical pizzas and getting into the social media.
So this brings us
dilemma.
This brings us to the point: were philosophers ever helpful, or did they just ramble on and it never really connected? Because I'll start a point and then my brain will go somewhere else, and then it'll go back and then somewhere else, and it's just nothing I say ever comes full circle.
I think that's the strategy, not only with philosophers but with teachers and some pastors, I would presume, is that I'm just going to start talking and just keep rambling, and eventually you'll start daydreaming.
Yeah.
And then eventually you'll be like, oh yeah, that
makes
sounded
sense.
good.
Yeah,
sure.
So
sure, that's what
hopefully-
that book meant.
Yeah.
I stopped listening 10 minutes in. That's my superpower.
Sometimes
if I can just talk long enough, and you'll totally just zone out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. See, you were talking. I was drinking.
You weren't paying attention.
No, I know what you mean though. I got you.
Okay, we're gonna take a break. Word from our sponsors. This first sponsor, we actually have. I don't know if you heard about this, but our sales team got us a sponsor. Mitchell.
Cool. How cool.
It's the Rubber and Glue guys in Omaha. They sell rubber and glue.
Really?
You know what their motto is? I'm rubber. You're glue. Wait, no, that's not it. You're rubber. I'm glue. No, wait. What's the saying?
I don't know.
Carter, what's the saying?
Is this?
I'm rubber and you're glue.
I'm rubber. You're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you.
This is an actual. This is real.
Yeah, we'll hear from them coming up next. And then we've got what you need to know with a cup of Joe. Your daily headlines coming up next right here on the Waking Up with Mitch and Mr. T.
All right. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me, sticks to you. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me, sticks to you. All right. The Rubber and Glue guys in Omaha. If you need rubber or if you need glue, stop by the Rubber and Glue guys in Omaha. Proud sponsors of the Waking Up with Mitch and Mr. T podcast. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me, sticks to you.
All right, and we are back. This is our segment, What You Need to Know with a Cup of Joe. We got our piping hot cups of Joe here.
Yes, I'm gonna take a little sip.
It's quite a big sip. Is that?
Oh man, it's hot.
This cup of Joe is gone, everyone. That was short lived.
I am caffeinated
And ready to hear
rejuvenated,
headlines.
and ready to hear some headlines.
All right, so this one's going to be a little less lighthearted than the first part of the podcast. But headlines, what you need to know. It is currently August 17th of 2021.
It is.
Yep, so these are our current headlines. Just what you need to know with a cup of Joe. Afghanistan updates.
I wasn't really ready for that.
I don't think we can do serious headlines.
We have to tell people what they need to know.
Shouldn't have just ran into it like that. I should have.
It was not very subtle. You dove right in.
Afghanistan updates. That's our new segment.
I think we're gonna. Yeah, it'll a lot will be going on there for a while, so we'll have some stuff to update people on.
All right.
Okay,
so,
what's happening? What are our Afghanistan updates?
All right. So we have some. A lot is going on in Afghanistan, and we have some updates for you. Taliban holds press conference from Kabul.
That's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Kabul, I believe.
I was talking about press.
Yes, you pronounced every word correctly in that sentence.
Chaos has enveloped Kabul after Afghanistan's president fled the country over the weekend, and the Taliban seized control of the presidential palace there, all but ending America's 20-year campaign as it began under Taliban rule.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
So you weren't even alive when this whole thing started.
No.
20 years ago, we go into Afghanistan because of 9/11. But the Taliban was in control at the time when we went in.
Yeah.
We took control pretty much, and they kind of went into hiding. And that's why it was so hard to defeat, I think, because we're fighting this ideology, fighting this not an actual army.
Yeah.
And so as soon as we left, then they just, okay, we're just going to come right back. But what surprised people, I think, with this is how quickly they took over. The Biden administration was thinking they'll have time. And it was in a matter of days. Do you know more? How much did you know about this situation?
Literally nothing. I've seen it, but this makes me sound so stupid, which is why I hate admitting it. But I knew nothing about this. I've seen it, and I kind of got the gist. Taliban's bad, and they took over. That's not all right. Yeah. That was the wrong way to put that.
That's the simplest way.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I was going to tell a little kid what happened, I'd say America left Afghanistan, and the bad guys, the Taliban took over
Yes.
very quickly.
And they're primarily, I think, looked at as bad guys because of their extremist points of
Yeah.
view, how they treat women. Very, very restrictive.
bad.
And it is. It
I
has
knew
the
about that.
It has the
Yeah.
potential to be very, very bad. And that's why right now so many Afghani people are trying to leave the country or want to leave. And that's one of the biggest criticisms of, how we did this, is that I think everybody understood that this war is going to be such a hard war to fight. I mean, it's been 20 years, and like I said, you're fighting an idea, not a
Yeah.
technical army. And so how do you really beat them? But the thing that people are so upset about is the people that we may have left there, and now we're
Yeah.
like, oh, let's just see you later.
Yeah.
But do you feel like your generation, or do you feel like this is a topic that your friends and the people your age should know about?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because I know there's a lot of people that will, I could think of people right now that would really get into this topic and delve into it to get, and have their own. Obviously, I think everyone's opinion is going to be pretty much the same on this. But I think there is people that have educated themselves about it that are my age. I don't think that it's a majority, though. I think most people just kind of let what's going on over there happen, as bad as that sounds. But we're teenagers. We don't really concern ourselves with that. As much as we maybe should, we just don't.
And a lot of it, so much of it is this idea of ignorance is bliss. If I don't have to think about it, if I don't have to know about it, it's not going to negatively affect me.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you have a lot on your mind and plate right now, especially just at the state of where you are in your life. I think as you get older, you have a responsibility. Yeah. I'd put it more on people my age that
Can actually make a difference.
I should be more educated on this so that I can inform people on what actually is happening. I think the people will make this political, since Biden is in office now.
Yeah.
And that's when this whole thing happened. And I think he definitely deserves some criticism for how it was, how it happened so quickly. But that people also need to remember that 4 presidents, we had Bush, Obama, Trump, and Biden, and they all played a part in this whole process. And what happened, today in these last couple of weeks could have happened 10 years ago. I mean, there's been the progress has been just such an ebb and flow to it that we could have left 10 years ago. We could leave 10 years from now and probably would get the same reaction. So that it's definitely not as political, I think, as some people want to make it. This war will definitely be one of those, just like the Vietnam War, that will be, torn apart and argued about for a long time. So I'm sure when you were my age, you're going to know a lot about this, a lot more than you do right now.
That was happening when I was a teenager.
Right. All right, next headline. What do you got?
We can cut that out.
No, we won't.
Tropical trio of Fred, Grace, and Henry affects the Southeast, Caribbean, and Bermuda. A trio of tropical storms were bringing heavy rains and winds on Tuesday to the Southeast and Caribbean.
Hurricane season. Is it hurricane season?
I have no idea.
I don't know when hurricane season starts. But let's
Or
talk
ends.
about that. Right. Does it ever end?
Does it?
Just like Ford Truck Month. Does that ever end?
What is it? It does.
It's like every month is Ford Truck Month.
I think that's correct.
And Fred, Grace, and Henry. Henry spelled with an I.
Yeah.
A couple of things here.
That's
First off,
I hate that name.
I'm not a fan of modifying traditional names.
I know it's like
it's not that it's bad, but I'm curious about the motivation behind it. Why? So why would you spell Henry with an I?
Speaking of names, me and my brother's name is Michael. My name's Mitchell. If you trace our names back to its origins, and I believe it's Hebrew, we both have the same name.
It is Hebrew.
Yeah.
It is biblical name.
And my name is a derivative of that name. So it basically stemmed from my brother's name.
Okay.
So we have the same name. My mom and dad are unoriginal is what that means.
Well, my middle name's Michael.
Stupid.
So
Yeah.
we all stemmed from the same person.
I guess so. But yeah.
Fred, Grace, and Henry. I mean, these hurricanes.
It's kind of a weird set of names for
Sounds
hurricanes.
like a singer-songwriter group.
Fred, Grace, and Henry in the Southeast.
Play in the Southeast this hurricane season.
Yeah, really. Okay, so let's break down Fred. It's not really a menacing name.
Fred, okay, there's Ted, Teddy. There's Ed, Edward. But there's not a Tedward or a Fredward.
Frederick. I think
Oh,
Frederick is
oh,
like
man.
the Edward
You're right.
of Ed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have.
So
I'm gonna
so Hurricane
resign.
Frederick. All right. So here's the thing. I don't like these names. They're not menacing. They're not. If you're gonna name a natural disaster, choose a name that's like not
Yeah.
like
Like Zorro.
Henry with an I. You sound like it doesn't make sense.
Or the Ravager.
Well, I mean, you can use real names. Like it's like naming a hurricane Bubbles.
Yeah, I mean Fred. I'm not like Hurricane. Who's coming? Who's coming this weekekend? Hurricane Fred. Or if it was.
Do I even need to lock my door for
Right.
that one?
Should I leave out
But
some
yes,
treats or
you
something?
probably should. Not the treats. Like get
Lock
safe.
the door.
Please.
Not
get
that a
safe.
locked door is going to stop a hurricane.
It might. Maybe it's a polite hurricane. I mean, Henry with an I.
Henry
If Henry
with
with
an
an I sees a locked door, he's not ravaging the house.
Yeah.
He's a polite guy.
Like how about? Well, I don't know. What's a very menacing name?
Like
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Hurricane Tyrannosaurus
hurricane. I think Rex would be good.
Rex.
Rex. We could call Rex the hurricane.
Rex Johnson. He is the hurricane.
The hurricane. Run that by him. See what he thinks.
I mean,
about
out of
it.
all the nicknames, that's a pretty cool.
That's a
nickname.
cool nickname. The hurricane.
Call somebody the tornado.
If you're playing football and you got somebody as big as Rex that people call the hurricane
Yeah.
coming at you, you're done. That's it. Like
No.
you're gonna be scared.
I'm just gonna lie down.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody if somebody starts calling him the hurricane, everybody's gonna know about it that we play in football, and they're gonna be scared.
Yeah,
Right.
And then it'd be even better if when he got on the field, was just spinning around.
Spinning, like arms out, just spinning. Like you're only safe nowhere. There's no eye to this storm.
unless you lock your doors.
Yeah. But yeah, find more menacing names, meteorologists, please. Like
I'm curious how they come up with the names, and I know
Names?
100% that it's very easy to find that out. I just got to look it up online. But
they go alphabetically. I know that.
yeah,
Names are getting stupider. I don't know if you've ever.
or more stupid.
Names are getting more stupid.
All right, next headline.
All right. Name your kids better things. So, New Zealand to enter lockdown after a single COVID case found.
Wow.
New Zealand's government took drastic action Tuesday by putting the entire nation into a strict lockdown for at least 3 days after finding a single case of coronavirus infection in the community.
Wow. New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Now,
nice place, I've heard.
I've heard some good things. But yeah, that's pretty drastic. One case, lockdown. Now, I would say a big reason why that works is because the country of New Zealand is smaller and it's much more unified and not as diverse ideologically. The political system there, I'm sure, is not as argumentative as ours is.
That's one way to put it.
It would be more similar to a state here. So if I don't know.
I still don't
if
think
the
so.
state of Maine got one case and they shut down.
Yeah, I still think there'd be a lot of controversy in Maine. I just think that's how Americans have just. I'm not.
Unfortunately,
Never mind.
yeah. Well, it has become so political.
Yeah.
COVID-19 has, and hopefully things don't turn for the worse here in Harrison County. Right now, things that seems like are okay, and this is our first week back in school, and things look like they're going to be back to normal, and that's going to amazing. I think everybody's happy about that, and there's nothing on the horizon that's hinting at or suggesting that that's going to go away. All we can do is hope that it doesn't, but it is unfortunate how political it's gotten, and I wonder if this pandemic hadn't happened during a presidential election, if we would still look at it so politically. If it happened, let's say, at the beginning of Trump's, term, or if this happened at the beginning of Biden's term, if not at the height of a presidential election, if people would still be so torn on the issue.
I don't think every issue needs to be political, and it's upsetting that it is, because sometimes it's really just a common sense thing. Like, hey, even if this mask doesn't work, should I wear it? Because there's a slight possibility that I'm protecting myself and others. But
one of the most annoying things, in my opinion, is how we oftentimes treat politics like it's a sport. So I'm this political party, that's my team, I'm going to root for them no matter what. You're this political party, I'm going to be against you no matter what, like the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah.
And that's such a dangerous place to be for a country when you get to that point. And I haven't been into politics that long. Maybe the last 10 years probably of my life have I seriously gotten into politics.
I'm not a huge fan.
And I wasn't when I was your age either. But I don't remember it being like this when I was younger. I mean, I graduated during the Bush-Kerry presidential election, 2004, 2005, and that was heated. Obviously, the 2000 election was heated when it came down to the recount. But those are some pretty drastic reasons why. And it seems like now, like you said, everything is political. Is so political. And I to tie it back to that social media aspect. I think it's a big partly part due to social media.
And a lot of you could argue that a lot of things are political because of like my generation getting their voice like heard. Because that's another thing to be said about my generation with social media is there is, although you have people like me that don't really care about, like, I'm not saying I don't care about politics. I obviously have my views and whatnot that I just don't care to share. But it's just not as important to me. And I think there's a lot of kids my age that because of social media, it is important to them. It's important to them to take a stand. It's important to them to be heard. And that's great. That's awesome that people want to do that. It's just, like, not my thing. But
yeah. And like I said, I don't think you're at fault for not caring too much right now. I totally agree, though, that this past presidential election, one silver lining of this whole thing, this past, with social media and the rise of all that, is that your generation, younger generations, have gotten more involved in politics than ever before, I think, and they're more vocal.
More educated citizens voting is going to make for a better office,
right?
Like,
absolutely,
I think, and that so it's good. It's really good that we are getting more, because I think with my mindset on politics, if you put me in a place where there was no internet, or like a generation where we didn't have these phones or social media to know what was going on, I would know nothing. Right. But because we have phones and because we've got all that social media, I know stuff that's going on, whether I like it or not. And I'm not saying like, oh, I wish I didn't know anything, but I'm just saying I wouldn't, because that's the mindset I have now. I don't care about it right now.
It's, when I was, my generation was just at the advent of social media. I mean, we had your MySpace and chat rooms and stuff like that, but it wasn't like it was at all today. And so I got my political information primarily from my parents.
Yeah.
And so did the majority of my generation and generations before me. Now you're seeing that with every new introduction of some new thing, some new age, the pendulum swings to extremes. I'm sure when just the points of view, opinions are all just super extreme when something new hits the scene. And so now you're seeing with social media, you're seeing that your generation has this opportunity you're receiving all of this information for the first time, and you're able to express your opinion for the first time. That even though that is great right now, because it's on that extreme side still, it's encouraging everybody to be so political too. So you kind of have to have the good and the bad. There. The good there is definitely that you're getting more involved. The bad is that
everything becomes political.
And right now it's so easy to spread misinformation and just cater to your own specific needs right now. Now that will change. Like that pendulum will come back as your generation and generations after you get more comfortable with social media and build those skills. But right now we're just at that just at the beginning of it, the dawn of this social media political age, I think.
Yeah, we were the first generation to grow up with like internet. That's what
iPads, internet, all that stuff. And that's interesting, and it's kind of unique that you have that perspective, right? That's something that I legitimately can't say like, well, that's not how it is, because I have no real experience growing up in that age, whereas your generation does. Okay, do we have one more headline?
All right, this one. Godfather of Sudoku, Maki Kaji. I don't know how to say that.
I think that's right.
Creator of the popular numbers puzzles, dies at 69. Maki Kaji, the creator of the popular numbers puzzle Sudoku, whose life's work was spreading the joy of puzzles, has died, his Japanese company said Tuesday. He was 69 and had bile duct cancer.
Sudoku guy. The guy
sad.
Who made and invented Sudoku.
Carter's a good Sudoku player.
Carter, is that true?
No, this is Randon. Randon's better.
Randon Bradshaw.
He's graduated. We don't care about him.
Are you a Sudoku fan?
I wouldn't say fan, but enjoyer.
I approach Sudoku games with so much confidence.
I don't.
This could be a metaphor for my life, maybe. I sit down and it's like I don't even remember the last time I played, how it goes. And it goes the same way every time. I sit down and I think, oh, and I start filling out the little boxes and I'm like, oh, wow.
And then it's wrong.
I'm a genius. So I'm like, yep, this works.
Yep.
Yep. And then, then you just get the one
It's wrong.
and it all tumbles down and
It makes you feel bad about
I curl
yourself.
up and cry.
Sudoku cry. Like,
But-
it's just sad. It's saddening. That is really sad that guy died, though, because he made, like, that game. Everybody knows Sudoku.
What a claim to fame, too.
Really?
Yeah, like, I mean, and just to be you think about unique jobs, to be a puzzle creator.
Jerry Delvin.
What Jerry Delvin? He was the puzzle guy, the rebus. That'd be a pretty cool job.
It would.
To create puzzles. And you think the littlest things that bring happiness, like how many people just depend on crossword puzzles and
in the
comics
newspaper.
and news, that kind of stuff. They get up, that's the little thing that they really enjoy and that kind of gives them some release.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be pretty cool to be the person that created that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just waking up, we probably should do a little name drop. This is Waking Up with Mitch and Mr. T, not literally. It's our new podcast. We're going to try to come up with these a couple times a month, and we got some fun segments. We got one more segment for you that we're going to do this morning. It is now close to 6 o'clock in the morning here in the LMAV Loma Radio.
Been up for almost 3 hours because I got up at 3, climbed trees, went home, showered.
Yeah.
Can't have that tree climb dust on me.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't want to get the studio all treed up.
Right. We've had about 10, 15 cups of coffee so far.
Yep,
So-
and a lot more trees in the studio.
Yeah,
So I had to put a stop to the trees in the studio.
no trees in the studio. No.
None.
Coming up next, though, we've got a rapid fire question game just so we can, you guys can
Wake up!
Oh, my gosh. Mitchell, you can't. I'm 2 feet away from you. You can't do that. Oh, boy. All right. We'll be right back.
Wake up with Mitch and Mr. T. Wake up with Mitch and Mr. T. Wake up with Mitch and Mr. T. Wake up and get your coffee.
All right, welcome back to Waking Up with Mitch and Mr. T, a new podcast here.
Not literally.
Yeah, you're not literally waking up with us, metaphorically.
Metaphorical wake-ups, people.
I mean, like maybe we're your alarm clock, but you're not here physically with us.
If my cat was listening, it'd be true because my cat usually does sleep in the same bed as me.
My cat, the cat that attacked me, has been under my bed for 2 weeks.
Still.
I mean, he comes out at night
To
and,
eat.
and roams around, eats.
Meow.
I hear him having just such a good time out there in the living room. He's chasing
you're like-
I don't know what he's chasing because there's nothing else out there, but he's running around.
Does he have toys?
Yeah, my grandma
Maybe he's
bought
chasing that.
everything. I don't know. But he puts it back because it's all back in the little basket in the morning.
Maybe he's chasing like a mouse. Do you have a mouse problem?
Not that I know of.
There was mice in my house. My cats became good at getting mice.
Oh, that's what, I guess. That's
No more mice in my house.
nature's purpose.
Out with the mouse in my house. Cats get the mice.
Okay,
All
Mitchell
right.
does not have a mouse problem anymore.
I don't.
We are going to
Thanks,
play.
Frito.
So we've got this last segment here is just kind of a fun one. We're going to ask some rapid fire questions, and I have to answer. Mitchell will go first. I have to answer first thing that pops in my head, and then I've got some questions for Mitchell. He's got to answer first thing that pops in his head, and this is just a fun segment. Get to know us on this new podcast that we're trying to do. All right, Mitchell, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Do you got some good questions?
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready. And go.
I already. Oh wait, no. Okay. All right.
Oh boy.
Count me off again.
Okay, and I'll count down from 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
What's your favorite song in the entire universe?
Favorite song in the entire universe? I'm going to go with Lithium by Nirvana.
All right.
Ugh, I mean, not really, but first thing that popped in my head.
Favorite Disney movie?
Oh, Disney movie. Toy Story is the first one popped in my head. That's a Pixar movie, though. I'm going to go Lion King. Lion King.
All right. Who's your favorite actor or actress?
Actor, I'm going to go with Tom Hanks.
Okay, good one. Good
America's dad.
one. Dawn or dusk?
Dawn or dusk? Dusk. That's the nighttime.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
dusk.
I agree. If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
I'd like to go. So this is weird. 1950s. I would like to see like Elvis, Chuck Berry, Johnny Cash. Those,
Anytime, and that's the time you choose.
Those.
Really?
I mean, I know it's not the best decade, but musically, it's a pretty good decade.
Wow. I like we had Vikings, we had
Oh.
Greeks and Romans.
What am I gonna-
we had there was so many cooler things than, and I get loving music. Like I agree with the passion of music, but going back to the 50s just
Mitchell,
to see Elvis.
What am I gonna talk to a Greek? Like, what am I?
Anything. They're Greek.
I don't speak Greek.
It doesn't matter.
I'm probably not gonna be able to come back. They're probably gonna kidnap me, think I'm some witch from the future.
That'd be so cool.
That would not be cool. A Viking?
A Viking?
Me? I'm gonna sit
You
down
can
with a Viking.
observe. You can
I'm gonna,
observe.
what? I'm gonna spy on a Viking.
Yeah,
That's
you'll have
what
like a
I'm
helicopter.
No,
like,
I'd rather go to a Johnny Cash
okay,
concert.
listen to me. You found out how to do time travel, but you're not smart enough to learn how to observe a Viking from some hidden thing.
Why would I want to observe a Viking?
I don't
what
know.
Do they do that's so fun. I could pay somebody
A
to
pirate!
Act like,
There's
act like
pirates,
a
man!
pirate. I'm not hanging around that. They had scurvy.
Bring some nose plugs.
1950s.
Do you snore?
No, not really. But every now and then, I'll be lying down and I'll just be almost falling asleep, and then a snore will come out of nowhere. Like I'll be like half asleep, and I'll just like,
you ever
like
had-
that will just happen. I'm like, what was that? I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Normally I don't snore.
You ever had sleep paralysis?
I don't. My brother does though. I was out
Yeah.
of town with him, and I had to share a hotel room with him. He snored, and it sounded like a lawnmower and a refrigerator breaking down. If you imagine those two, and then starting back up.
All right. That question was worded weird. What place do you want to travel to the most?
The 1950s.
It's a time period.
Okay. So like Greece,
Graceland.
Grace, Memphis. No, like other country, Greece, I think would be cool. But now, today, not back then, because now I can talk to people and be like,
Iceland.
oh wow,
I would choose Iceland.
Iceland would be cool.
Yeah.
Or I'm a huge fan scenically of Montana, North Dakota,
You know
that
what?
type of scenery.
You can drive to North Dakota, man.
I know, but it's still a beautiful country. People don't give North Dakota enough credit.
You can't go to New Zealand right now though because they're in lockdown.
They
remember?
are. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to. Sharks and spiders and crocodiles.
I hate spiders, dude. So bad.
And I know, New Zealanders, their accent is perfectly normal, but just hearing that accent all the time would totally throw me off.
What are they? Is it Australian?
It's like Australian, but it's a little more intense. It's
Oi, mate.
it's a little different.
Yeah, like the spiders, crikey.
Well, I mean, that's very stereotypical, but so I don't know.
All right, next question. Favorite junk food
Oh, Oreos.
with milk?
Yeah, I'd go for some milk.
Favorite childhood TV show?
Simpsons,
Okay.
all the way.
okay. Favorite season of The Simpsons? No, favorite season.
I'm gonna go with fall. I know it's cheesy. October, outside of like Christmas time, December around that time, best
I
time.
hate winter.
But fall, October,
Okay.
smells, temperature. I just run around town and smell. That's what I do. Just
Around
think-
here, that's not a good idea.
that is true. There occasionally those dump trucks go by and
or it
something
just
smells.
smells bad. Sometimes it just really reeks in this town.
the random sewer smell.
Am I allowed to say that?
I mean, it happens. We all know it,
Yeah.
and then the first step is talking about it.
I think there's gotta. All right, if anybody on like anybody important in Logan is listening, do something about the smell,
Well, I think it's I don't know. I think it has to do with the landfill.
or the rock quarry.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I
where it
probably-
comes from.
I know that place smells.
But you know what? If 6 days out of the week smell good, 1 day smells bad, I'm fine with that.
I'm not.
You gotta smell some bad stuff if you want to smell some good stuff.
What if I just didn't smell any bad stuff at all?
Well, you might have COVID.
Lockdown. Last Halloween costume.
A lobster, a big lobster. My
What-
brother and I were working at the radio station, and we had an endorsement from this costume shop. So I had full access to this big costume shop. I went down, I was looking around, and I saw this lobster costume, full, just like wool lobster. It was big. I had to get in it, had a big helmet I had to put on. And I thought, how funny would that be if people looked around, they just saw this big lobster walking toward them.
Larry.
It was one of my proudest moments.
Sorry to hear that.
People looked at me. I'm sure they were, as at a bar on Halloween. I was, again, with the radio station, and I'm sure people may have had they may have consumed something that altered their thinking, and they look off in the distance, and they see this red
giant lobster
blob. I kind of look like an insect because I've got these big tentacles.
I would have been scared.
They're not sure. That thought, whenever I'm having a bad day, I think about that.
Makes you happy.
And it makes me so happy.
All right. Well, next one. Wait, so how old would you have been?
I would have been, I think, 24.
Cake or pie?
Cake. I mean, pumpkin pie is my favorite pie, but I could go for any kind of cake.
I feel that, yeah, for real. This last one's so dumb. I'm not gonna read that. What's your favorite color?
Burnt orange, or
Like
ember,
burnt sienna?
like ember orange.
Like a burnt sienna, kind of.
I don't know what that is.
It's like orange, but burnt.
It's
sienna.
if you have a log that's if you have a log that's smoldering, and that orange, that's my favorite.
So bright orange, like
Bright burnt orange.
like that's kind of like burnt sienna.
Well,
that's more bronze than burnt sienna.
Yeah, that's
Imagine
not.
if you mixed orange and bronze, you'd get like a burnt sienna.
Okay, I can't even imagine that. I have no idea what that looks like. Okay,
All right, my turn.
your turn. All right, you ready?
No.
Countdown.
What do I start with?
You can just pick whatever number.
99.
Oh, jeez.
98. No, I'm not. 3, 2, 1, go.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Root beer float.
Oh,
That's not a flavor. I just like root beer floats a lot.
well, I don't think you're playing by the rules.
There is no rules.
There are no rules. That is true. Say a word in Spanish.
Hola.
All right. Do you believe in fate?
Like, that's a terrible question.
Why is that a terrible question?
It's like, how
That is not what I sounded like at all.
no, that's not.
I clearly pronounced the words.
It's no, okay. So that's just the stupidest. It's not like
Why is that a dumb question?
It's because
Do you
it's like,
believe in fate?
for a rapid fire question game, if I say yes or no, I'm gonna have to elaborate.
Oh yeah, elaborate a little bit. I elaborated.
Like, what
on
does that
mine.
mean though? Like, do you believe that everything is predetermined?
Yeah.
No, because then there'd be no point in living life.
Okay.
And I know, it makes me so mad.
Fate does, or the idea of fate,
Or
people who believe in.
I don't
fate.
know. I think you're destined to do something. But
So you believe in fate?
No, I don't think it's predetermined. I think
That's what destined means.
But I'm saying I think there's people that are destined to do things but it's not specific, This person is definitely going to be great, but I don't know at what,
You think?
I do.
That's so fate. That's 100% fate. It's just not a specific fate. Because I totally disagree with that. I think that I don't think anybody is destined for anything. I think it's if you take somebody who was a phenomenal singer or phenomenal business person, you take them and put them in a different setting, growing up, family circumstances, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah,
outcome.
everything is a matter of circumstances and chance. But I think some people are, no matter where you put them, will find something to excel at. And maybe that's not fate, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Okay, based on, like, if you were to take Carter, our producer, and put him as he is now, I would agree with that. Because now he's acquired these skills and a mindset that he can be successful.
Exactly.
But if you were to take baby Carter, and put baby Carter in a different setting, I don't know.
Does he have the same parents?
Well, yeah, if he had the same parents, then yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Then yes.
Janelle
And Brian.
Shout
out to you guys.
Our rock stars.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys.
Okay, that was a pretty heavy-hitting question.
That is a dumb question.
This one's also a little heavy. Favorite number?
I've never thought about this. There's so many.
There are a lot. Pretty infinite amount.
I'm going to have to say... next question.
All right, who has it easier, men or women?
What? I'm not going to answer that on this lighthearted school podcast.
Oh, we've gotten into some pretty heavy-hitting issues.
I don't know.
And I want to
don't
know what your position is
the-
on feminism.
what is the it's all circumstantial, man. it's circumstance. Because if I say one thing, I'm gonna upset a whole group of people. If I say another thing, just nobody's happy. It's political. It's political.
You you have the good approach for a politician. That's what a politician would say.
Yeah.
So that's
And they
maybe
would
you have
lie
a
about
career
it.
in politics.
I-
Okay, that is a tough question. Here's another toughie. Have you ever worn socks with sandals?
No, that's disgusting.
That's a powerful word to use.
gross.
I mean, okay.
Don't do that.
Well, all right. I'll move on. Name a primate besides monkeys and apes.
Orangutan.
Okay. Why can't we tickle ourselves?
What?
I never thought about that.
What?
You can't tickle
No,
yourself.
but if you have, okay, there's a spot like on your side that if you hit, it's like, oh, that felt weird.
But is weird tickling?
I think so.
Because I think this is gonna sound bad. I can make myself feel weird.
No.
Not in a weird,
No!
not in a weird way. But like I can't tickle myself. When I tickle, that's a sensation that is pretty unique. If you make the sound, that doesn't mean that you're tickling yourself.
I think you can. You just aren't doing it right.
I wonder if your hand fell asleep, if you could tickle yourself with your asleep hand.
I think I'm.
Okay,
Next
what
one.
does a person need to be happy?
Why are mine like, oh, favorite Disney character, favorite.
I didn't see these questions beforehand.
Okay, what does someone need? This isn't rapid fire. These are also philosophical and
This is
deep.
these, yeah. What does a person need to be happy?
I think money helps,
Money does make
but
it easy.
but I think truly somebody's gonna need another human, like at least one. I think in order to, because from when we were Neanderthals, is that's how you say it, right?
Yeah, I think so. I've heard it a couple of different ways, but that's one of them. Yeah.
We've had somebody else in our tribe, and I think that's the only way a person can function. By themselves, they'll go crazy or obsess over one thing. And if you have somebody else that you can rely on, somebody else you can depend on, I think that's where you'll find true happiness. So I think you'd need like a family, or if you don't have a family, then like a friend. I think that's the only way to find true happiness and self-worth. That's another thing you need if you want to be happy. You need to know your worth.
Man, Mitchell, that was
Because maybe you don't need family. Maybe that's just me. That's more of a personal thing. I
Right.
think to be happy, I'm going to need my family my whole life. But another thing that you'll have to realize before you'll know what makes you happy is what are you worth. So figure that out. You'll know what makes you happy.
yeah. Those are two great answers.
Yeah.
Well done. Jeez. I don't really want to ask another question. I feel like we should just end on that.
We can edit it so that's last if this is a bad one.
But I feel like you knocked that question out of the park, and I totally agree. Companionship,
Yeah.
people, and self-worth. Yeah, making yourself.
I'm not saying if somebody wants to be alone, they want to be alone, but I
And I
think
think-
it's always good to have somebody.
Yeah, I think that there are people out there, and I love to be by myself a lot of times and just kind of get away. But there's always a moment where I need to be around my family.
Yeah.
Too, and I would imagine that's the same way that when people say I want to be a hermit, they like maybe.
But if you leave
for a short amount of time,
yeah,
I would agree that by nature we are people that we're a species that like to be around.
if you leave
other
yourself alone with your thoughts, it's going to go badly.
it turns into this podcast.
Yeah. That's why we came together to make this podcast at
Okay.
5 a.m.
Last question: is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
No.
What if nobody sees you do it? What if you're the only one?
It's disgusting. If you're the only one using the sauce, like if you got yourself a little sauce thing and somebody else says, hey, can I use your sauce? I double dipped, man. Like, but no, if it's like the community
Community
sauce,
dip? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
What
Maybe
if
nasty.
you have the chip and you're going in and nobody's around and you'd be the only one that would know know that you double dipped?
If it's a chip, eat it in one bite.
Here's my thing. I'm going to build a little counter argument to you, Mitchell, is that if I go to a party and somebody offers these giant tortilla chips, I'm going to double dip because it's your responsibility to give me a chip I can fit in my mouth in one bite.
You're going to the wrong parties.
If I have to like break the chip, or here's the other thing, another counter is if I take the bite off of one side of the chip, why can't I just move it to the other side of the chip and go there? There's no saliva.
Germs spread, I think. I don't know. I'm
think-
not a science teacher. Like, it's just manners, man. It's just manners. Don't double dip.
That's why I always bring my own dip.
That's right. And chips. Does that
chips.
fit in your mouth?
I just have a ketchup bottle full of dip.
Is that ketchup? No.
All right.
7-layer taco dip. Was it red?
And you can't have it.
That's another creative solution. Is put your dip in a bottle and squeeze it on your chip.
Yeah. That's our next sponsor, the Chip Guys. All right, that does it for this first episode. We'll have more of these coming up this year. This is Waking Up with Mitch and Mr. T, not literally. Hope you're all awake now.
Yeah.
Great job, Mitchell.
Thank you. Great job, Mr. T.
Great job, Carter.
Great job, Carter.
Yeah.
Wake up with Mitch and Mr. T. Wake up and get